Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip, and I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. It is December 24th, 2023, so Santa is on his way if you believe in him. Happy holidays, everybody. And I'm sure I'll say it again, but have a very happy and healthy new year. May we all have our health and good wishes and such. So, I wanted to talk to you about something that may not make me very popular, but let's end the new year on one of these notes, maybe? I don't know. So, a long time ago, when I say a long time ago, I mean about a month ago, in YouTube time, I got a message from somebody after I had responded to a video that Zero Dark Tony was a part of, and that was his story from the Dazed but Not Confused channel that Doug had run. Doug, who had just passed away. So, and somebody had commented, and this comment has ping-ponged in my brain now for about a month. And the person wrote, "You watched Zero Dark Tony, so we wouldn't have to." And I kind of get that. I do, because ZDT is very dark, and he can come across really brash, and he is really brash, and he can be rude, and he can say things that I don't agree with, that I don't particularly like. And it's not so much his content, it is the way he addresses people, and when he's angry at people, the things that he says. And there's quite a few people like that. Here's the thing: if he's saying it online, he's saying it offline. So he is being truthful and honest. I might not always agree with his opinion, and listen, it's hard for me to get through his videos, to be honest with you, but there's gold in some of them, because he actually does have information that when you see it, you can't dispute it. Okay? So, but I know it's hard to get through some of his shows, and it's because he's so angry. So finally, I did watch the Zero Dark Tony story again that Dazed but Not Confused put up, and what I gathered from it was that he was promised things by Scientology, and he did what Scientology was expecting of him, but when it came to Scientology doing what was expected of them, that's when he saw the scam. That's when he said, yeah, things aren't quite the way they are. And in the meantime, this was his whole life. He wanted to be an actor, and he had worked hard on that, and he felt like he was going in the right direction. And then Scientology promised him something and kind of snatched it from him and kind of screwed up his life. So he feels that way, and that's a legitimate feeling, and he's allowed to feel that way. And from what I gathered, so then I even went further, and I got on some other people's channels, and it seems to me like there's this SPTV community, and then the SPTV community decided that certain people shouldn't be a part of it. And so now they have this other, it's kind of like it went from Scientology to SPTV to now outside of SPTV. It's all been like this clique of stuff. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I think, and I could be wrong, but this is what I gather. And again, it's hard to follow the line, but I gather that Zero Dark Tony felt like he had stuff that was very important to him, in all fairness, and but that the SPTV community kind of shunned him for whatever reason. Like, it became so cliquey or cultish that he wasn't good enough to be part of it. Now, is he brash? Yes. Is Aaron brash? Yes. Does Aaron use the C word? Yes. Does Tony use the C word? Yes. I don't like the C word. But here's the thing. Tony uses it in front of people, not behind people's back. So he doesn't come on in front of a camera and pretend he's somebody different than he's not. He's the same guy. It appears in front of a camera, I would think, as not in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? Where Aaron called somebody the C word 4 or 5 times, but never admitted to saying it to his viewers. So, what's worse? Well, they're both bad, but I'd rather somebody be honest 24/7 than just pick and choose when they're going to be honest. Does that make anything right? Nope, it does not. But let me just say this, and I don't like the C word. I think you could use better words. I think that, it doesn't have to be so vile. But let me just say, in all fairness to the C word, they use it all the time in the UK, and they do it to men. They call men that word. And it's really not the way that we view it here in the United States. It's not nearly as insulting there as it is here. So I don't know where these men are getting off saying the word. I do think that Aaron would not call a man that, but I do think that Zero Dark Tony would call a man that. So that's like 2 separate meanings of that word, more or less, if you're going to use it the UK way. Again, I do not like the word. I do not think it's okay. But it's also not okay to create a cult and then exclude people. To come out of a cult, know what that feels like, create another cult, exclude people from that cult because of why they don't see what you see. You don't feel that their story is as valid as your story. Like, that whole thing is a shit show. That whole thing is a mess. And when I just dug into it just a little bit, because I wanted to see, somebody asked me to check on this Mark Fisher thing. Who has the information on the Mark Fisher thing? Well, Zero Dark Tony does. So, and there's another, I think there's another channel, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I have it, that also speaks about it. There's some stuff on Reddit. But there's receipts when Zero Dark Tony says something and is able to show it. And I know that he, again, is very difficult and very angry. But again, it does not mean that what he's saying is untrue. It just might be hard to get to it. And maybe I am kind of watching it so that you guys don't have to. But, you can always watch an episode of anybody and just put the speed up to like 2 and just get the information that you want from it and then go forward with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. The people have asked me to check on this and check on that, but they don't like the person that I might be checking and their information from. And listen, I've got to give credit. If I'm getting information from somewhere, I'm going to give credit to where I'm getting the information from. I don't know what, I'm not going to make people happy about that. But do you want the information? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. If you want information about, let me say this. It is clear that if everything went great in Scientology, nobody would have pulled out of Scientology. So I have people saying to me, Leah Remini was horrible to her dad, and everything was fine in her world when she wasn't treated badly in regards to Scientology. That's very true. And Mike Render didn't have any problem treating people the way he treated them until he got treated that way. That's true. All this information you guys know, and it's true. And it's your choice if you want to follow these people, if you feel like they have information that you want, if they're entertaining, if they're fitting the shoe that you want put on your foot. If those people are doing that, then watch them, follow them. You know, if you think that there's hypocrisy, okay. If that doesn't bother you, okay. If it bothers you and you still want information, you could do all of that. It doesn't have to be one or nothing. You're able to watch somebody on YouTube and still think, you know what, they have some information, it's pretty entertaining. Not necessarily do I like them as a person. Okay. You can do that with anybody. But yeah, it's pretty clear. If Mike Render wasn't hit and wasn't thrown in the hole, he probably would have gone through his whole life treating people poorly and had no remorse about it. But that's not what happened. What happened was he didn't like the way he was being treated, and he stepped away from it. And the thing is, has he changed his ways now? Because you can't keep holding people accountable for what they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. But if they're still behaving that way, by all means, you hold them accountable. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen any new behavior in regards to Mike Render, which shows me that he hasn't changed at all, or that he has no remorse, or, you know, and if I'm supposed to jump on board and say, well, what he did to Aaron Smith Levin wasn't fair and that was dirty, I don't think so, and I don't think it was behind his back. He told Aaron. Now, did he go behind the other board? Did he go to the other board members behind Aaron's back? Yeah, I'm sure he did. Probably said, listen, we've talked to this guy several times. He's not changing his ways. And if that's the case, I got to leave this board. This board is toxic for me, and I got to leave if Aaron's going to stay on. And they probably said, hey, listen, we're sick of Aaron's ways too. So if we're going to pick and choose, we're going to choose you. So, but this is probably after talking to Aaron quite a few times when Aaron did nothing to change his behavior. How are you going to hold people accountable? You can't keep with, well, that's the way this one behaved, well, that's the way that one behaved. At some point, there has to be a new start. You guys have left Scientology. This is not the way to behave in the real world. Let's get our shit together and let's just go with it. Let's expose Scientology for what it is. Let's expose the people that are still in Scientology that are doing rotten things if you want to. You know, let's, you know, they tear apart Tom Cruise, you know, and they tear him apart. And listen, I've changed my view of Tom Cruise. I think he's a really good actor, but I don't even pay to go see his movies anymore because I don't think it's fair that this guy lives a life the way he lives and that he knows that there are people that have been used and abused and mistreated because of his whims. That's why I got a problem with Tom Cruise. So either he's stupid and oblivious, which I'd have a problem with anyway at his age, or he just doesn't give a shit, which I have a bigger problem with. So I don't see where Tom Cruise could win in my book as being a great person. Leah Remini, I mean, you could see when she spoke about Scientology, she was entitled. She had like an entitlement about her. When talked about, she had a confidence, and Scientology gave her that, and gave her that entitled type feeling and stuff like that. Does she still behave like that? She still behaves like a rough New Yorker. like a tough talker, but that is part of who she is. Is it an act? I don't know. I don't know Leah Remini. But I think what she's trying to do with Scientology now, which is something she wouldn't have done if she stayed in Scientology and if she was treated right. But that goes for anything. I mean, people stay at jobs that they might not necessarily be thrilled with, but it's comfortable. And they stay until it's not comfortable anymore. So that's what happened here with Scientology. And I don't see where that's an issue, but a lot of people make that an issue. Well, he only got out because he was treated so poorly. He didn't care about how others treated him. We could say that about our own lives in one way, shape, or form. I guarantee you, it could be about a job, it could be about a friend, it could be about anything. And I'm sure at some point in our lives that applies to us too. We stayed until it wasn't comfortable anymore, right? So I would hope over the course of time we would realize, well, yeah, that didn't feel very good. And it probably didn't feel really good when I did that to that person. That's when somebody, I think, owns their stuff and says, yeah, I'm not going to behave like that anymore, and I'm sorry for my past behavior. Now, I'm pretty sure I heard Mike say that with Leah Remini, that he was ashamed of his past behavior, that he actually reached out to the guy from BBC, I forget his name, the guy that did the interview that he was horrible to, and Sweeney, right? And that him and Sweeney ended up talking, and he owned his shit. I'm 100% sure that he had said how bad he felt about bringing his children up in Scientology, and how responsible he will always feel for that. So I don't know where Mike's behavior is anything else. If he is part of this SPTV group that is keeping people at bay for whatever reason, that is like, you're really creating another cult-like behavior. SPTV is not like the Aftermath Foundation, so I would think if you have the common ground of being a Scientologist, then you can, why is this like a cliquey thing? How long, it's almost like, so Steve Mango, who I followed a while ago, and I really don't follow him anymore, but I have watched some of his videos as of late. I guess if you weren't in Scientology for any real length of time, then you weren't considered being messed with long enough. That's what I'm getting here. And that's not for anybody to decide, who was messed with long enough, or who was more of a Scientologist, or somebody spending 3 years and having their life destroyed in 3 years as opposed to 40-something years. Who is to say that one is more important than the other? So I am going to dig into the Mark Fisher thing, because Mark Fisher, had something going on in Thailand, with underage women, and explicit sex stuff, and I don't understand how people can condone that behavior. I don't understand how people could say that's good with me. That's fine by me. I like that characteristic in you. There's something not right with that. And I am going to check into that. I just wanted to put this out there because, I am going to be getting information from watching ZDT's channel, and I am going to also give credit to where I get that information from, because that's the only fair thing to do, right? So I am going to stay on that. It's not going to be a constant. thing on my channel. I'm not going to make every video on it because it's not that important to me, but it seems to be important. I'm not going to create stories for it, but I'll look into things, and I'll give you my feedback on it, and we'll take it from there. In the meantime, I'm going to continue also going in the direction of missing children and cults, and we're going to do informants, which is going to be like a weekly thing right now, and this is just the direction that I think that I want to go to until like April, and then in April we'll reevaluate everything. So I just wanted to share what I'm gonna do, and you know, to just let you guys know front and foremost, you know, where I'm gonna be getting some information from, and you know, that's it. All right, guys, this is short and sweet. I have some stuff to do. I know I'm at work. I have some stuff to do, and then to continue on with the day and do it all over again. So I'm hoping to get a video up tonight of some interesting information. We'll see. And that's about it, guys. So thank you so much again. Happy holidays. I know that this video didn't have a lot of, it just had some information. That's it. Just wanted to touch base and tell you what I was going to do, what was going on with it. And I think I could have gotten the Mark Fisher video up, but I was having a computer problem at work. So, but I'm definitely going to, you know, and hopefully I'll have that up for you tonight. Okay, guys, so again, very happy holidays to everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday, but not half as good as you're going to be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.